and what the Torah says not to do. I'll give you an example. The Torah says you take wool, if wool, a woolen garment, you can't stitch linen, tie linen to a woolen garment. That's a big issue called shatnez. And when you buy a suit, you should check the suit to make sure that the suit doesn't have shatnez. Now, where would they put shatnez? Usually, sometimes in a very expensive jacket, suit, they put shatnez in the collar because they want to hold the collar. The linen is stronger material and it gives a very good hold on the collar. And therefore, the irony is, the more expensive the suit, the more likely it has shatnez. Sometimes you think when you spend more money, you get you get something better for the deal. Hey, if you realize a guy gets married, I remember before we talking about the guy could be getting married and getting a tuxedo, and at his wedding he's wearing shatnez. The tuxedo has shatnez. So people have to be aware, right? So we got to be aware of that. One of the members of our class, he had a coat, and he asked me to check the coat. It was like a $2,000 coat. What did he Zari? I don't know what is coat? What's it? What? Probably Zara or something else. I don't know. There was some coat, like a $2,000 coat. Took it to the Shatnez laboratory. Boom, Shatnez. It had Shatnez, and it was a big job. It wasn't like they really stitched it up. They had to go to a tailor to remove the shatnez. It paid to go to the tailor to remove the shatnez. So here the Torah says if you have a garment made out of, now the Torah gave a mitzvah called tchelet. Tchelet is the blue, is the string, is a certain dye, a certain blue dye from a certain fish, from the chalazon, and you dye the blue wool, the blue string, not the blue wool, the blue string with that dye. The Torah says, Al kanfei bidem v'notnu al tzitzit hakanaf. I want you to put on the tzitzit a petil tchelet. One of the strings should be blue strings, which means blue with the blue dye on the wool string. So what happens if you have a linen garment and you want to do the mitzvah of tchelet? You want to have, in the time period today, there's a whole discussion, that maybe we lost the exact, tchelet, the tradition of the blue, and therefore we don't have the mitzvah, we don't perform the mitzvah of tchelet. There are some people that think they have found a certain fish. It's a dye of a certain fish, and therefore certain people feel they might have it and they use it. Others don't. Most common don't have it because there's been an interruption of years without having it, and hard to find, hard to identify exactly which is the right tchelet. But if I have tchelet, I have the real deal, the real McCoy. Can I stitch this blue wool string to a linen garment? What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to, at the same time, two things are happening. I'm going to be performing, I have a mitzvah. Now I got the mitzvah of tchelet, but I'm mixing wool and linen at the same time simultaneously. So there is a question between Beit Shammai, Rashi holds that Beit Hillel holds, and we generally hold, we say asay dochalot asay. The Torah tells you to do something, and simultaneously at the same time, the Torah says not to do something. The Torah teaches us, the Torah places the mitzvah of tzitzit next to the prohibition of kilayim, don't mix. And why does the Torah connect the two, put those two mitzvot next to each other? So Beit Hillel says, the Torah puts those two mitzvot next to each other. Good morning, Rani. Welcome back to
Good,
teach us.
thank you.
Good to see you. To teach us that the positive commandment could overpower the lo taseh, and therefore you would go ahead and you would have a right to put in that blue wool string into Ronnie. We're talking about when you have a positive commandment going with a conflict against the lo taseh, where Torah says something, where Torah says somewhere else don't do. Who's the winner? And we say that a positive commandment overpowers the thing the Torah says not to do, provided there's certain many laws that apply. Provided that the thing that the Torah says not to do is not a heavy slugger. What do I mean by heavy slugger? There's lo taseh, what Torah says not to do, that carries general lo taseh of the Torah. The common thing what Torah says don't do, if it's an action violation, carries with it lashes. Don't eat pork. That carries. Don't eat an animal that wasn't slaughtered. Those are. Don't buy chametz on Pesach. Okay, according to the Rambam, that's okay. It's not eating chametz is correct. Buying, according to the Rambam, is lashes. So many things the Torah says don't do with an action would carry. Don't muzzle the animal when it's threshing. Allow the animal to eat when it's threshing. All those things carry. There's a whole listing in Masechta Makot of the lo taseis of the Torah. A Kohen can't marry. David was not allowed to marry a divorcee. That's a Kohen Gadol can't marry a widow. So these are prohibitions that carry with it lashes. But then there are prohibitions that carry a higher level punishment. Chametz on Pesach, eating chametz on Pesach, violating Shabbat, eating on Yom Kippur. These are heavier sins. Now, the lower levels, even a lower level sin is heavy. There's no such thing, right, Saul? No such thing as a sin that's really light, so to speak. But those type of sins, if the positive commandment is going up against the heavy sluggers, it doesn't overpower it. Okay? It has to be a mid-sized, lower level sin for the assay to, and also it only would work if they're both coming simultaneously at the same exact time. And I think, and also only if you can't do one can't be filled without the other. There's a lot of rules and regulations. The FDC, I don't know, in order to be able to go FDA, in order to go ahead and be able to permit that. But there are cases that it is permitted. So the Gemara said yesterday there was a rabbi, a great rabbi, Yehuda bar Avaloi, and he wore a linen before Shabbat. He went out before Shabbat. He wrapped himself in a beautiful, good morning, Boker Tov, a beautiful linen garment, a cloak of linen, and he would go out. And they brought him. First, they brought him, the Gemara says, a pot of hot water, and he would wash his hands as a mitzvah every Friday to wash your face, your hands, your feet with hot water, honor of the Shabbat, and and he would wrap himself in a beautiful um, linen garment, and he would be sitting, and he was waiting for the Shabbat, and he was waiting for the Shabbat, looking forward to greeting the Shabbat. The Shabbat is coming. He's sitting and waiting, looking, not that the Shabbat is here and then he's getting ready. He's already waiting for the Shabbat. And he looked like, the Gemara says, he looked like an angel. And the Rambam writes in Hilchos Shabbat, wrapping tzitzit, sitting with a certain humility, waiting to accept the Shabbat as if you're going out to greeting a king, right? We say Chododi Likra Shabbat Pele Shabbat, Malkata, right? You talk about like we look at it like it's like a king. And the Chachamim and the early rabbis would gather their students on Erev Shabbat, and they would say, Bowie, and let's go and greet Shabbat HaMelech. Morning, Rafi. You call it, right? They didn't call it the Shabbat Queen, Malkutah, they called the Shabbat King. Morning. And he wore his linen garment with morning Miles, morning Adam. He wore his linen garment with tchelet, with the wool. So because he held that the mitzvah of the asay, the positive commandment of wearing tchelet, would overpower the prohibition of wearing shatnez. Right, Adam? That's asay docha lo taseh. However, the Gemara says, Talmidav mechabim mimenu kanfei ksutam. His students hid the corners of their garment. He wasn't able to see the corners of their garment. Why wasn't he able to see the corners of their garment? Because they did not put on the tchelet. They did not, some learn they had linen strings on, but no, meaning linen garment, linen strings, but no blue wool string of tchelet. Why didn't I have the blue wool string of tchelet? Tchelet is from the wool, yes. Has to be the blue dye on a wool string. And what was their concern? So Rashi explains what was their concern. A night garment, that is a very interesting argument, by the way, between Maimonides, the Rambam, and the Rosh. What's the law if you have a night pajama shirt that you wear at night? And that night pajama shirt has four corners. So what do you say? So if you wear that at night, everybody agrees the night garment that you wear at night does not need tzitzit. But the Torah says Rita Moto, you have to see it. We're going to say in the davening this morning, Rita Moto is katem, you have to see it. And a night garment is something that you generally don't see. The tzitzit, it's nighttime. But what about if you wear the night garment by day? Morning, Nathan. Would the night garment by day require tzitzit? Yes. So that's a matter of dispute. So Nathan is going with the Rambam. The Rambam, Maimonides says, it's all about day or night. Daytime, a four-corner garment is obligated in tzitzit. Nighttime, a four-corner garment is not obligated in tzitzit. Even a garment that you wear by day, a day garment, your day tzitzit. If you're wearing your tzitzit that you wear by day, you're wearing it at night, the Rambam says there's no mitzvah taking place at night when you have your tzitzit on. Because he understands the Rita Moto, it has to be that it has to be a time that people are able to see. So if you feel not able to see, what's the difference between the Rambam and the Rosh? But the Rosh, but the Rosh says you would get a mitzvah tzitzit at night, wearing your tzitzit that you wear during the day. Because the Rosh says it's about was it a day garment or was it a night garment? According to the Rosh, a day garment that David's wearing by day, it's tzitzit that he wears by day, you keep it on. If you keep it on, when it comes night, I don't take off my tzitzit when it becomes nighttime. There's some people, I'm speculating, when it comes nighttime, they might take off the tzitzit. I don't. Now, according to the Rambam, 100%, you take it off, there's no mitzvah, you're not performing any mitzvah. According to the Rosh, you are getting a mitzvah, because it's a day garment, it's worn by day and by night, there would be a mitzvah of tzitzit.
Tzitzit on a night garment that you wear during the day. Why would the Rosh check that?
So the rush would hold that a night garment that you wear by day, he would say again. So good point. Is that called? Is that a night? Meaning, if it's generally only used by night, and now you're wearing it, and now it's a night pajamas shirt, and now you're going to wear it by day. But it's not still not a day garment. I happen to be wearing it by day. So the rush would say,
Probably to satisfy all opinions, he would recommend against that,
but he would say it's a night garment. It's a night rite moto. Why don't you see the point? If
you're wearing four-corner garment by day, four-corners by day, you don't need that CC. I don't get it.
Let's get at they used to say let's go to the videotape, right, Nathan? So here, let's go in Shulchan Aruch. In Shulchan Aruch, it says like this about tzitzit. Let's get it out. By the way, keep in mind that every second you wear tzitzit, you get a mitzvah. It's an amazing concept that if a person wears tzitzit the whole day, I mean, every second of the day you're following what Hashem says. On a four-corner garment, put on tzitzit. So it's an amazing thing. You're being protected every day by the mitzvah. So the Shulchan Aruch and Siman Chai, Siman Yud Chet. Nighttime is not the time of tzitzit. The Rambam, exactly. It's excluded from Re'ite Moto. You have to see it. Whatever you wear at night is exempt from tzitzit, even if it's a day garment designated for the daytime. This is my day thing. I wear at night, no mitzvah. And when I wear at night, I'm sorry. And when I wear by daytime, even if it's something that I generally specifically a night garment, I wear it by day. I'm obligated to tzitzit. According to the Rush, here we go, Nathan. A garment that's designated for the night is exempt from wearing tzitzit, even if I wear it by daytime. Now, he didn't say the reason yet, but right, we're going to see it's also based on urita moto. And a garment that's designated for the day or for the day and the night is obligated even at night. That's the opinion of the Rush.
But I don't understand how the book says
That
you have a four-corner night garment and you're wearing it during daytime. You are not.
right. Right, exactly. He understands, like Adam said, it's about the garment. The Torah says, "Urite moto." What is the Torah talking about when the Torah says, "I want you to go ahead and put on tzitzit on a garment"? What's the garment that the Torah is talking about? The Torah says, "I want you to put on tzitzit." So he's saying that the garment that the Torah is talking about, you should put on tzitzit, is a garment that's a garment that's used by day. That's how he understands.
Is it still a dispute of this? Does everybody generally follow the Rambam?
Okay, so Adam asked a great question. So the Shulchan Aruch is very interesting. He just brings the two opinions. He doesn't take a position.
Wow.
He just says, according to the Rambam, this, according to the Rosh, that, and then comes the Ramah, the Ashkenaz rabbi, says, Safek brachot lahakem. Now, meaning to say, if
You would not make a bracha at night.
right at night, if you take a right, if you take a day garment, let's say you have your tzitzit, and let's say you have a pair of tzitzit, you want to put on a pair of tzitzit at night, another pair of tzitzit at night. According to it's a day, according to the Rambam, that you can't make a bracha. According to the Rush, if it's a day garment, you're putting it on at night. Let's say it's a new pair of tzitzit, and you didn't wear it before, and you would generally you should, let's say, make a new bracha during the daytime on it, but at nighttime you would not say a bracha on it because according to the Rambam you would not be chayav in the tzitzit. By the way, I want to tell you, I was learning this Gemara with somebody, or we were learning about tzitzit, and as a result of that, the guy told me last week, Rabbi, I'm going to start wearing tzitzit a little more. So, learning, good morning, Adam, is not, hopefully the learning should also influence people in their lives to take this to heart. Now, very good. Now, he says, let's see what he says in the Aruch HaShulchan. Okay, he just discusses the point. He talks about the mitzvah Hashesh Mangrama, about the fact that it's a time-bound mitzvah, it's a time-bound mitzvah. So the question is, how is it called a time-bound? According to the Rambam, that says a mitzvah only by day and not by night, fits in very good. It's a time-bound mitzvah. But according to the Rush, technically a day garment, you would be obligated by day and by night. But on the other hand, a night garment, since you're not obligated by day, so you can still classify it as a time-bound mitzvah.
But if you're wearing a night garment or warmers during the daylight,
right?
The Rosh says you don't have to put
right. Like Adam said, because he understands, because the question is what he.
That's there's no situation like you want to wear a night garment during the day, and then that you go back to Rambam. Those are just like safe.
Yeah, but Nathan's trying to understand his opinion. We have to say what is it? What is he asking on? What is the question? Is when it says you should see it. How do you translate those words, right, Miles? Right, Joseph? When you see it, the Torah is talking. So the Rush understands the Torah is talking when you see. The see it is talking about the Torah is talking about what the Torah is telling you have to put tzitzit on a garment. The garment that you see, that you generally see, because that's a garment that you wear by daytime. That's the garment that that's the garment that we're talking about. If it's not, it's on the garment. The rush is not about if the daylight. If there's daylight, then you have to put on tzitzit. The Torah, he understands that the Torah is saying, I'm telling you, I want you to, Hashem is saying, I'm obligating you on a full-quarter garment, you put on tzitzit. But what type of garment is it? A garment that you see, that you generally see. What is the garment that you generally see? A daytime garment. That's how he understands it. Okay? But again, the Shulchan Aruch, like I told you, the Shulchan Aruch does not take a position.
I think a more interesting challenge if there's so much emphasis put on the why has it become such an important
Why is such a minute that what?
If there's so much emphasis on seeing it looking to Moto, then how has it become an minhag, especially from the result?
Right. So you should know that the Chafetz Chaim himself he talks about it says Rita Moto, so why should you tuck in your tzitzit? So some say that people tucked in because of places where it wasn't so safe, and what? And therefore people were hesitant to wear it out. But there are other approaches to it that could be looked into. But that could be one of the. Should be worn out, right? Because he says, says, why are you embarrassed of the mitzvah? Don't be embarrassed of the mitzvah. Okay. If it's a question of people feel it's not safe, but there's a whole big discussion. I think Rav Yaakov Hillel and Rav Yosef go at it for the Sfardim. I think Rav Yosef, is of the opinion it's inside. I think, and maybe the Rav Yaakov Hillel might say otherwise. We could look at it. I know he has a whole discussion morning on the matter. So his students were hiding from him. The rabbi students hid the corners of their garment. Why? Because they did not wear the tchelet on the. Why not? So Rashi understands what was the issue. because Rashi says maybe they'll have a garment that's designated for the nighttime, and they'll put tzitzit in the garment. And if they put tzitzit in the garment, they'll put the tchelet in the garment. It's going to come out that you are wearing tzitzit with. You're not getting the mitzvah because if it's a night, it sounds like he's going with the opinion of the Rush that it's a night garment designated for the night. There's no mitzvah of tzitzit. So if you put there's no mitzvah, a garment designated for the night. The Rush only says that a garment that you wear designated for the day and the night, there's a mitzvah at night. There's a mitzvah that's even at night. But a garment that's designated for the night, there's no mitzvah. It's called a night garment. There's no mitzvah of tzitzit in a night garment. So what will happen? A person might go ahead and put tzitzit in that night garment, and he's going to be wearing klayim. He's going to be wearing klayim not in a place of mitzvah, because he's going to be wearing shatnez. Because if he puts in tzitzit in the night garment, there's no mitzvah of tzitzit in the night garment, and you only have the sin of the mixing, like David says, of the wool and the linen, and therefore they say better don't put any tchelet, don't put any blue string into this garment. So what did he tell them? So he told them, Amalahem, he said, Bonai, my children, lo kach shaniti lechem, didn't I teach you that sadin b'tzitzit? I taught you sadin b'tzitzit. If you have a linen garment, linen cloth, linen shirt, that Beis Shammai putrim. Beis Shammai says you do not put the tchelet. You don't put the blue wool string into this linen garment because Beis Shammai holds he doesn't hold of this. The positive commandment knocks out the lotas, say the negative commandment, and therefore there's no allowance for you to go ahead and do the mitzvah tzitzit at the expense of shatnez, of mixing the wool and the linen. He doesn't hold of that idea, and therefore he holds. You could go ahead and you can't do that. You will not be able to do that. You know what? You know where you put the blue strings, the blue wool string in a wool garment. But if you have a linen garment, you don't put. The Torah is not asking you to put a blue. When the Torah says, "I want you to put the teal tchelet," the blue dye string, that's only in a wool garment, but not in a linen garment. Because a linen garment, if you put that blue wool string, you're violating shatnez. However, Beit Hillel mechayvin. Beit Hillel says if you have a linen garment, you have an obligation to go ahead and put in that blue string, that string that has the special dye from the chilasson fish, that special dye, because the assay, the positive commandment of wearing tzitzit overpowers, and the positive commandment of wearing tchelet, wearing this on a four-corner garment, wearing this, having this blue string of wool, overpowers the prohibition of wearing shatnez. And the halacha is Beit Hillel, and the halacha is like Beit Hillel. Yes. Right. So there's very good question. There's two. The mitzvah is you have to have 4 strings, right? You have to put strings. One of those strings should be, and each 4 strings, and the 4 strings we double. That's how we have 8. We start with 4 strings. It was doubled over. one of the four strings, three, let's say we hold three should be out of three do not, one should be have the blue dye. Okay? Technically three white, one blue. Now, it says if you don't have the blue, if you don't have, I mean, it's counted, what I recall in the Sefer Chinuch, it's counted as one mitzvah, tzitzit, but if you don't have the blue, you still have the mitzvah. Meaning it's not all or nothing. If you don't have the blue dye string, so then you have four strings, white strings. But there is this mitzvah called chelet. There is this mitzvah within the, what I would understand, within the mitzvah of tzitzit, there's this mitzvah called having this blue string, but having the blue string and not having it will not knock out the opportunity of doing the mitzvah in total. You still get, it says chelet does not ma'akev, doesn't hold back. If you don't have that blue string, you're still getting the mitzvah of tzitzit, but you're not getting that aspect, that part of the mitzvah. There was an aspect, another thing of the mitzvah of getting this, having this blue dye. That's what we're missing out.
But the question is, why would it if you already have the mitzvah and the is it a vera to accept?
No, but there is a positive commandment that you should have this chelet. I might have the mitzvah, but there's another aspect of the mitzvah. Within the mitzvah of tzitzit, there's a positive commandment to have chelet. That benefit could knock out the right. Would the point to Beit Hillel should knock out the.
It's not like it's not there's once the mitzvah exists and the affair doesn't exist anymore.
Right, the Torah is telling us
a sin you shut
like the mitzvah. What's going on in the mitzvah? Right, exactly. But the Gemara says the inu savri gzeram yishum ksut laila. They are concerned. The students, morning. The students are concerned morning of zera because of a night garment. Where Rashi explained, they might put on tzitzit on the night garment. Now, and then if they put on tzitzit on a night garment, people make mistakes. People, you're telling people you have to put on tzitzit on a garment. So people put on tzitzit on the day garment. They might put on tzitzit on what? Not everybody knows that, there's a difference between a day garment, a night garment. They know you have a four-cornered garment, you put on tzitzit. So they might put on tzitzit on a four-corner. If you're gonna put the blue wool string on a linen garment by day, they might on a day garment, linen garment. They're gonna put it on a linen garment that they wear at night also. They'll put the tzitzit, and they don't realize that there's no mitzvah. You're not getting credit for the mitzvah of tzitzit on that night garment that you wear at night. It's designated for the nighttime, and if this garment is made out of linen and you have the wool string on it, then you're in violation of what? Of shatnez. So therefore they go ahead and they say the students say better stay away and don't wear it. Don't put in the blue string. Yes.
The best would be where since this that actually you want to have this all the time.
I mean, if for a garment, but again, a garment that you wear by day and by night, you would get credit according to the rush for that at night when you're wearing that garment. But according to the Rambam, you're still not gaining anything at night when you're wearing that garment. If you wear your day garment at night, so if it's designated for meaning it's not generally worn at night. It's designated for day, and you wear it at night. So again, according to the rush, it's a day garment. Again, it's a day garment. You would get the mitzvah of tzitzit. According to the rush, the chiddush is not only a day garment you wear at night. You would get credit for the mitzvah of tzitzit, even if it's designated for day and night. You also get the mitzvah of wearing it at night.
Only mitzvah.
Right, according to the Rambam, like Nathan is saying, right? Therefore, the student said, don't, if you're wearing a linen garment, you can't put in the tchelet. Right there.
Word by day. Now
No, but
comes
they're saying, they will not allow you. They will say, don't put tchelet in the linen garment.
You put the.
But you did put it.
In the linen garment. Rambam says you're getting credit during the day. Now it's not.
Gotta take it off. Gotta take it off.
Rambam takes it off.
Right, but before sunset,
Before sunset.
take it off.
So that's the only way that the Rambam works. Take it off, so otherwise you have only the Avera and no
I mean, right, if it would be a linen, right, if you'd be wearing a linen garment. Generally, so therefore wear the wool garment and you have no problem. You will wear a wool garment, so there's no shatnez issue. Yes.
Doesn't this mean that the Talmudim in the Gemara side with the Rambam against the question? Because if they sided with the Rush, there would be no problem. If not,
According to the rush, at nighttime, there's no.
in other words, according to the Rush, the linen garment, with the wool strings, then it's a day garment. Therefore, it doesn't matter that we've now transitioned it to nighttime. Day garment has been.
Yeah, but again, the question was, but the question, there's a concern that maybe it'll be a garment designated for the night. Garment designated for the night, there's no mitzvah according to the rush at all. And according to the Rambam also, if it's a garment that you wear at night, there's no mitzvah sit.
They're concerned that an ignorant person could tie strings on a night garment.
Right. And therefore, if you put that blue wool string to a linen garment, that would be shatnez. Beautiful having everybody here. Beautiful crowd. Saul, one of the early members. David, I think, was first place today. Mr. Haber, I think, got the bronze medal. Okay, he'll take the bronze, right, Mr. Haber? Ronnie, we welcome Ronnie. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. You too. I was looking for the button.
Great
Have a
day.
great day.